Mutually exclusive events. मैंने शायद पहले भी आपको बताया इसका, but two events are mutually exclusive if their intersection is empty. Okay, so you have a sample space. इस sample space के अंदर you have two events A and B, and we say that they are mutually exclusive if their intersection. They don't have anything in common. Okay, इस तरह के events को हम mutually exclusive कहते हैं. ME भी use होता है इसके लिए. Okay. And another type of events is independent events. This is slightly tricky and important as well, okay? So pay attention. We say the two events A and B are pairwise independent. This keyword is also important. Pairwise independent. If information about the occurrence of one event does not change the likelihood of the other event. So for example, जो आपके पास A event है वो ये है कि it rains tomorrow, okay? और उसके बाद आपके पास एक इवेंट है B और वो ये कहता है कि it is I don't know, Wednesday tomorrow. It's not, but let's just say that it is, okay? In all likelihood, it usually does not depend which day of the week it is for the event that it rains or not. Okay, so I would say कि जो event A है वो event B के ऊपर depend नहीं कर रहा. Okay, similarly जो event B है वो event A के ऊपर depend नहीं कर रहा. अगर मैं आपको बता भी दूँ कि कल Wednesday है for 100% sure, so it won't change the fact कि whether it's going to rain tomorrow or not. Okay, there are other factors which rain depends on. For example, I don't know, humidity or whether what's the average rain at a particular place, what's the height of that place, I don't know. So there are a lot of factors which this event A depends on, okay? But B is not one of those events, okay? So I would say that the event B and event A are independent. Does it make sense for two events to be independent?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So here is a formula for computing the A intersection B probability. For two independent events, the probability of A intersection B is just the product of their individual probabilities. Okay, and this is both ways, if and only if. Okay, if this happens for two events, if this is true for A and B, then we say that A and B are independent. I think they write it like this, that A and B are independent of each other. Okay. Okay. अब यहाँ पे एक और चीज़ होती है जो मैं शायद अभी बता दूँ आपको, वो ये है कि the definition of independence will become slightly ambiguous when you have three events. Let's say आपके events हैं वो A, B, C है. What do you think would be a problem with the definition of independence when I have three events A, B, and C?
Sir, can you repeat? There was some problem in the voice.
Okay, okay. So मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि if you have two events, A and B, it makes perfect sense to say that A and B are independent. Okay, so you can say this, or maybe they are not. Okay, so you can say that they are not independent. Okay, but if you have A, B, and C, then you might have. So if you, for example, want to say that A, B, and C are independent, this thing is not very clear. Okay, this could have multiple meaning. That's what I'm saying. And can you think of those multiple meaning?
Sir, can it mean that if A is in A and B are independent, and B and C are independent,
But
then
not
A
A.
and C are independent?
No, sir.
Um,
It might be that A and B independent, B C independent, but A and C might not be independent.
सर इट्स बिकॉज ए बी और सी तीनों तीनों सेट्स हैं तो उन तीनों की इंटरसेक्शन एक चीज होगी बट there could be different intersections A और B की आपस में, A और C की आपस में. तो it's
Yeah.
possible कि A and C are आपस में dependent, लेकिन वो तीनों मिल के dependent नहीं हैं एक दूसरे के.
True. And so this is so all I want to say is that it's possible that A and B are independent, okay? And it's possible that A and C are independent, and it's possible that B and C are also independent, okay? These are the three pairs that you can make. But it's possible that even after all these independence, these three events are not independent in the sense that A depends on the B intersection C. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if I tell you that B occurs, it does not help you finding the probability whether A occurs or not. And again, if I tell you whether C occurs, it does not help you figure out whether A occurs or not. But if I tell you that B and C occur at the same time, both of them occur, then it somehow helps you find out that A occurs. Okay? So अगर दो चीज़ें इकट्ठे simultaneously हो रही हैं तो वो A की probability इसकी A के occurrence की probability को affect करती हैं. लेकिन वो अगर individually हो रही हैं तो it's possible कि वो उसको affect ना कर रही हैं. Okay? So यहाँ पे independence की मल्टीपल मीनिंग्स हैं. एक तो ये जो हमने यहाँ पे कहा, व्हेन आई से दैट A does not depend on B, A does not depend on C, and B does not depend on C. If you have these three things, we say that these three events are pairwise independent. Okay, pick any pair and that pair is independent. Okay, but this pairwise independence does not imply whether three of them are independent or not. Okay, ये अगर चीज़ आपके पास है कि you pick any subset, कोई भी एक subset ले लो, वो किसी और subset के probability को depend नहीं कर रहा, तो इस independence को हम mutual independence कहते हैं. कि कोई भी सबसेट किसी भी सबसेट के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं कर रहा. कि मैं अगर आपको फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपके पास लेट्स से कि 3 की बजाय आई डोंट नो मेरे पेन को क्या हुआ है, लेट्स से आपके पास 1000 इवेंट्स हैं. ओके, and now if when I say that they are mutually independent, what I mean is that if I tell you everything about except for EI. Okay, EI नहीं है यहाँ पे. तो फिर even then you can't figure out anything about one particular event. Okay, so that makes sense. So
Yes, sir.
for a particular example, if you have A1, A2, A3, and A4, so it means that A1 is independent of A2, A3, and A4 simultaneously. Okay. Similarly, each one of them is independent of all of the rest simultaneously. Okay. And this is different from the pairwise independence. जिसमें हम ये कह रहे हैं कि pick any pair of events and they are independent of each other. Okay, so these are two different types of independence. Did I make it clear? Do you guys have any?
सर अगर हम वो जो इंक्लूजन एक्सक्लूजन वाला जो फॉर्मूला था उसके अंदर अगर probability of A intersection B को सब्जेक्ट बना लें for two independent events, तो क्या उसको rearrange करने से we get this formula जो कि यहाँ पे लिखा है?
So the thing is, this वो जो आपका inclusion exclusion वाला formula है ना, that involves union and intersection. Okay, उसके अंदर आपके पास होता है कि A intersection B is equal to, sorry, probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of just give me a second. Yeah, probability of A union B union. Okay, let's say there are two of them, minus probability of A minus probability of B. Okay, so that's, I think, so there should be a minus here. Okay, so मैंने उसको opposite लिखा है. So this is the inclusion exclusion formula. This is a relation between the probability of union of a pair of events and intersection of a pair of events. Okay, जो आपके पास ये वाला formula है which tells you how to compute the probability of intersection. Okay, it's just a relation between the probabilities and the probability of their intersections. Okay, तो यहाँ पे asset union नहीं है. But the thing is, अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि someone gives you the value of probability of union of a pair of events, तो फिर yeah, then you can, for example, replace this part with this part. Okay, so you can compute probability of I'm not sure what would I achieve by doing it. Let me see. So someone tells me what's the probability of a union B. Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. So I can
I
check.
think the thing is
Yeah, I
if
can
they
check
tell you
whether two
that
events are independent if someone gives me the probability of union of those events. Okay, by replacing it here. Yeah.
Sir, there is a question in the chat box.
Yeah. What is it?
What is the difference between independent events and mutually exclusive events?
We are going to come back to it in a second. Okay. Um, uh, SM, you are saying something?
yes sir मैं बस ये कह रहा था कि जो ऊपर वाला formula it works for independent and dependent events both, right?
Yes. Yes. This works for both events. And this only works whenever A and B are pairwise independent from each other.
Yes, got it.
All right. Okay. So chat box में किसी ने पूछा है कि okay. So let me ask you that question कि मेरे पास दो events हैं A और B and they are mutually exclusive. Okay. They are M, E. Okay. Would they be independent? Can I say anything about their independence?
Mutually exclusive means that they cannot occur at the same time, right?
Yes.
So how can they be independent if they cannot occur mutually?
That's the question. Can they or can they not?
No.
So they are not independent. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're right. If two events are mutually independent, they are not, mutually exclusive, they are not independent because the information about one event tells you everything about the other event. Okay, so for example, they're mutually exclusive, which means कि इसके दरमियान कोई intersection नहीं है, which means कि ये simultaneously occur नहीं कर सकते. Okay, if I tell you कि A occurs, it definitely gives you the information that B will not occur. Okay, ये दोनों at a time नहीं occur कर सकते. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि information about occurrence of one event tells you everything you need to know about the other event. Okay, so they're completely dependent. Okay, they are not independent. Okay, so mutually exclusive events are dependent on each other. Okay,
सर तो डिपेंडेंट और इंडिपेंडेंट जो होंगे उनका जो वेन डायग्राम होगा वो क्या डिफरेंट होगा या कैन वी टेल फ्रॉम द वेन डायग्राम?
So what we know for sure is कि उनके दरमियान कोई intersection जरूर होगा if they are independent. Okay, that's what we know. इससे ज़्यादा हम Venn diagram से नहीं बता सकते.
बट अगर इंटरसेक्शन हो तो फिर वो डिपेंडेंट भी हो सकते हैं. That's what
It's possible that they are still independent. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, good question. So you can't tell from the Venn diagram whether two events are independent or not. But you can tell whether they are mutually exclusive or not. Good. All right. Here is a question that we want to solve. Suppose event E okay, so you randomly generate a bit string of length 4 and it begins with 1. Okay, that's your event E. And event F is that this bit string contains an even number of ones. Question is whether these two events are independent or not. Let me write it down for you. So, so E is the event that, let's say X is आपके पास एक bit string है of length 4, 0, 0, 1, okay, whatever. X starts with 1, okay, और F आपके पास event है कि X contains even number of ones. The question is whether E and F are independent or not. What do you guys think?
They are independent
Why?
because if a number starts with ones, it doesn't tell us anything about if it has even number of ones in it or not. And if a number has even number of ones, it doesn't tell us anything about if it starts with a one or not.
Okay, I'm glad that you did it right now because I can stop you here. Never do this again, okay? This is sort of intuitive thinking that you imply in probability, and it will get you in a lot of trouble. What you need to do is to figure out whether E and F are independent or not is just check the formula that E or F की probability इस चीज के equal है या नहीं.
Independent है.
Okay, otherwise you will see that your brain tells you something else and it's gonna come out something else. So what's the
Okay.
probability of E? How do we compute the probability of E? So look at all the possible strings, okay? 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 and so on. Okay, imagine you have all the strings. How many are there? There are 16 of them. Okay, how many of them start with 1?
One नहीं.
8.
8 of them,
8.
right? Yeah, so you fix 1 और उसके बाद आपके पास 3 strings हैं. Okay, so यहाँ 3 strings के ऊपर you can have anything and there are 8 of them. So the probability of E is the size of E divided by the size of the sample space. Sorry, the size of E is 8, the size of the sample space is 16, so this is 1 over 2. Okay, so this is one probability that you have computed. The second probability that you need is for F. Okay, so F is the event when you have even number of ones. Okay, let's try to see how we get this. So you would have this 0 0 0. What else you could have? 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 or 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0. And
Sir,
then
we
you would
can do
1
it
1 1 1.
more quicker if we find that with the odd number of ones.
I think it's gonna be the same problem, but let's see. So
So isn't there a way for some example for some problem like this कि हम उसे formula से किसी कर लें या जैसे अभी even वाले
let's do it. इसको थोड़ा सा tediously कर लेते हैं. Okay, तो जब हमें प्रॉब्लम फार्मूला की जरूरत पड़ेगी तब हम फार्मूला से करेंगे. Okay, so is this all the bits that have even number of ones, or did I miss anything?
Zero double one zero.
Yes, sir. One more.
0 double 1 0. I think that's it. Okay.
Yes, sir, that's it.
So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
8.
6, 7, and 8 of them. Okay. So this is 8 over 16 again, and it's 1 over 2. Okay. And now I need to find out the probability of F intersection E. Okay. So how many are bits here which start with 1?
1 by 2.
So I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, and 4. Okay, so I have 4 of them. The probability of F intersection E is 16.
1 by
Once
4.
again, F intersection E is the event that you have a string, it starts with a 1 and it has even number of ones. Okay, तो वो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं, these are the strings which have even number of ones, तो इसमें से वो वाली count कर लें which start with a 1. There are 4 of them, so in total there are 4 strings which start with a 1 and they have even number of ones. So the probability of F intersection E is going
1
to
by
be
4.
4 into 16. So is it true that F intersection E की जो probability है, it's actually probability of F times
No, sir.
probability of E?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
It is,
No,
right?
sir.
Yes, sir.
4
Yes,
over
sir.
16 is equal to 1 over 2 into 1 over 2. So it checks. This implies that these two events are
Independent.
independent. Okay. Every time you need to check whether two events are
अरे एक
independent,
सेकंड दोबारा
we'll
एक्सप्लेन
go through
करना.
the same exercise. Yes? अनस आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
सर ये एक सेकंड दोबारा से एक्सप्लेन कर दें.
Which part?
लास्ट पार्ट, ये फॉर्मूला.
Okay, so the formula says that you have to check whether the probability of their intersection is equal to the product of their individual probabilities. Okay, so their individual probabilities are 1 over 2 each,
Yes, sir, 1
and
over 2.
probability of their intersection is 4 over 16. So it turns out it's equal, which implies that
Okay.
these two events are
And over 4,
independent.
1 over 4. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
So
Any
I have a
questions, people?
question.
Yeah.
How does the 4-bit 0000 have an even number of ones?
Well, because
It
there
has
are
zero
zero number
number
of
one.
ones, right? 0 is even.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Let's move on, unless there are any questions. I think we will have probably one or more questions on independence as well. So ये मैं आपको पहले बता चुका हूँ कि if there are more than 2 events, तो independence की definition has multiple meanings. Okay, conditional probabilities. शायद कोई question होगा आगे for independence. We'll see.